who said that the Orange Democratic Party necessarily has to be the party that every single time? And by the way, you want to know the strength of a political party? You mentioned political parties right now. You talked about political parties right now.
Yeah.
Look at parties that were formed. Please tell me, has anyone talked about the likes of Kanu, the way they've talked about ODM, and they had a president? Has anyone talked about DP, the way anyone has talked about ODM, and they had a president? Has anyone talked about PNU, TNA? You know,
So
if I was to ask you right now, you know, probably Eric and Mariam, you,
people talked about Kanu very much. When Mwai Kibaki was leading DP and not PNU, people talked about DP a lot.
Right.
When he joined PNU, people talked about PNU a lot
Right.
as president. Okay? We're talking about now Baba and ODM. The taste of this pudding is right now.
But
Baba is gone.
let me get this straight.
Deputy party leader are saying something that appears to be different from what you and the chairperson Gladys Wanga and the leader of your party in parliament, Junaid Mohammed, are saying. You are clearly, to everybody who has eyes and ears, speaking, reading one paper but different pages of that paper.
Can I equally say something else? You guys are asking us to be a boring party. We're vibrant. We're democratic.
So this is democracy at play.
Of course. I mean, these words were not even there before, after Baba passed away. You're only magnifying them.
So then...
And the way you're magnifying them is with a very, very unfair... You're not even using a magnifying glass. You're using actually, you know...
something bigger.
Yeah,
telescope.
You're literally looking at us, you know. You've dissected this party so deeply that you're no longer looking at you know, our external structure. You're now looking at our molecular structure.
Okay. Let me then fault not the vibrancy of your democracy, which is having, you know, different views. That's democracy. Let me not fault that. I'm shifting back to my initial fault, which was like the Orange Democratic Movement is a social democracy. Representing the people requires you to play the role in which, you know, in which you are. When you are in government, you represent, you execute, you do all these things, you legislate. That's okay.
Hold on, Mariam. Are you trying to say that the fact that are you trying to say that the fact that we're a social democracy, then we just have been born, raised, and bred in such a way that we just have to be in the opposition?
No.
Surely,
that's not what I'm saying.
Let
me finish.
Does it mean that everyone who's in orange deserves the tear gas and the pink water?
No, that's not what I'm saying, Governor. I am saying the role in which you play after an election.
Right.
Meaning the winner gets to form the executive, to legislate, or, you know, in part, and to do this and that, right? And whoever is the next biggest majority then becomes the opposition.
True.
And like I said before, their job is to keep the government of the day in check. That is democracy at play. So when you call yourself the Orange Democratic Movement, you are ready to play the role of being co-opted into whichever new government forms, even before it forms.
Let's fast rewind after the elections, when we felt that things were not going okay, and we accepted but never agreed. We were not necessarily in agreement with the Supreme Court ruling. But ODM being ODM, Baba being Baba, and the leadership of ODM being the leadership of ODM, we said, you know what? Let's accept it for what it is. However, for future. In fact, in one of Baba's speeches that you'll be hearing, he said, I might not be on the ballot, but unless you're going to have electoral reforms, you will never be able to get the right leadership that Kenyans want for this country. And I wish these are the kind of words that you can be able to put up. You will never be able to get. And what Baba said at that time, it was not for the purposes. We went to the streets, by the way. We had a reason for going to the streets. We went to the streets to talk about electoral reforms. Electoral reforms that were not going to reverse the decisions of that election. We had been in acceptance, but for purposes of tomorrow. And you know, in probably in others who would actually call it their prophetic statement that I might not be on the ballot, I might not be there, but whoever is going to be at that particular time is going to face the same issues that I am facing right now. So what did we talk about? We went to the streets and we talked about we need electoral reforms. We went to the streets and talked about, you know what, something has to be able to be done on these matters. Then what ended up happening? Let's have a NADCO team. Let's have a conversation. In fact, the view of Baba at that time was that there was a need for this to be a national conversation. People to talk at county level, at ward level. What is it that what is the vision that they would wish for a Kenya to be able to be done? Eventually, some of the issues that people had raised was going to mean that there was going to be a constitutional amendment, which would have meant that the country was going to be ready for a referendum. Fast forward, after all this happened, then we had a revolt going on in this country. The young people, you know, felt that this is not the direction. What is happening in this country? The army was going to go on the streets. First, it had not been even approved by Parliament. Parliament quickly approved for the army to be there. And when we sat down and we said, you know what, there is no military that has ever taken over a country in Africa and returned it to civilian rule. And when it returned to civilian rule, the guys who were there were the military rulers who were actually there. And at that point, Baba said, gentlemen and ladies, maybe it's time for us to take that seat that might not be populist. And by the way, some of those people, you know, I'm not going to start a whole new conversation.
Some of your members.
No, not our members. Some of the people who are currently calling themselves opposition at that time when they were in government literally reached out and were praying for ODM to join and make sure that this country goes into turmoil.
Oh, they were telling ODM, don't join the government.
They were actually telling us that to fuel the fire,
to join the demonstrations,
to make sure that heat is going to be felt from every other part. The people out there who really, really do not have this country at heart.
Okay.
The truth is going to come out. That this person called this person, asked them for us to be able to have a meeting with Baba, for Baba to be in acceptance, that let this country be able to burn in every single angle, while Nairobi is doing this, let the coast also happen in this way, Nyanza happened this way. You know, this guy who's in power is a very, very bad man. We're in government, but, you know, we really... And then when they realize that that is not happening, when they realize that we will not be able to put self-interest before government, is when now they decided to be the Kensaro weavers and the champions of democracy and everything.
When they saw that you're not doing the job of the opposition, they became the opposition.
When they saw that we're not going to make this country burn.
I get your point, and Baba explained it many times. Still, people didn't understand, but maybe posthumously, people have started to see what maybe he meant. But I want to go back into this thing that you actually said. There are actually three things that you've said. Mambo ni matatu.
Yeah.
Either ODM
for us, it's going to be two. It's not going to be three. The third one, we're going to leave it to others.
Okay. Mambo ni matatu that can come out of an election.
Right.
ODM will have a candidate, and this candidate goes ahead to win and become president. ODM may have a candidate that this candidate does not win and not form government, so become an opposition party.
Right.
Or ODM may or may not have a candidate, have a pre-election coalition with somebody, or a post-election coalition with somebody. It sounds to me that your preferred route is number 3, pre-election or post-election coalition.
No, I actually said 2. And I said 2. The first one was that, you know, we might be the ones in government to win. And or to be in part of government.
Okay.
The third option, Eric, and I'm hoping that by 2027 September, you'll be calling some of these guys here and telling them, gentlemen, just be in acceptance. This is life and everything else.
The third option is being the opposition.
Yeah, we're not going to be in the. We were not.
That's why
born.
I'm saying it sounds to me that your preferred safest option is getting into a coalition either before an election or after an election that ensures that you have a government.
I never said that. You said that.
I'm saying that's my interpretation of what you're saying.
No, actually the words you used was that it seems like that's what you're saying. It doesn't seem like that's what I'm saying. I said that we have two options. And I'm not going to be apologetic about it because that is what democracy is all about.
Of a post-election coalition where you have gone into an election as ODM, you have not won that election.
Right.
And then you form a post-election coalition with the winners.
Right.
Okay? If that is how the ODM is approaching the election, why should anybody vote for ODM anyway?
We've
just go for either go for Kenya Kwanza, go for United Opposition.
No. We've never talked about we've never talked about a post-election coalition.
Either way, what I'm hearing from the deputy party leader of ODM is whoever forms the next government, ODM will be willing to have a conversation with them.
No. And we're fixing the nation. Let's fix words as well. Let me say what exactly I said. We're not talking about post-election coalitions. We're talking about pre. Pre means before.
Okay.
Post means after. Kwa lugha ya Kiswahili hatusemi ya kuwa tutaingia katika serikali baada ya uchaguzi. We are going to form government. Or we're going to be part of government. And that means we're going to have this conversation prior to the elections. We're not going to have these conversations after the elections. After the elections means that you're already in the opposition. And I've said it, the third, which is being in the opposition, for us, surely should not be an option. And by the way, it should not be an option. It should not be an option for any. It should not be an option for any serious political party
to be in the opposition.
To be in the opposition. You know how many political parties are in Kenya?
We're going into a break. Nimekuelewa. You are going to have a pre-election agreement.
I said that's one of the options. Well, we might decide to have,
Now, because you are not
since we're going to be on the break.
Because you're not having a conversation with David Maraga, with Okiya Mtata, with Dr. Ruben Kigame, or with the United Opposition, but you are in some arrangement with Kenya Kwanza, then it is safe to assume that the pre-election coalition that ODM is likely to form is with Kenya Kwanza. Let's go into a break.
I want to give a quote. Assumption is the mother of all evil.
And here is a clear assumption coming from exactly what we've heard from the deputy party leader. We'll be back shortly. Abdulswamad Sharif Francis is the deputy party leader of ODM. Back in a moment.
The reason why we take our children to school is because a colonialist came and said, you must go to school. And we have never stopped.
Clear philosophy of education is to ensure that we produce innovative and creative citizens.
What does it cost to actually educate a Kenyan child?
Transition to grade 7, there are a lot of costs.
We should have education to be accessible.
The government is sitting pretty cool, and we are staring at a crisis.
This is The Last Word. Every Tuesday on NTV.
Last week, we kicked things off with Iqbal and took a deep, honest look at what clinical weight loss is really all about.
We have a 3-month program. Sometimes it's not enough in the 3 months to do everything.
And if you thought that was interesting, get ready because part 2 is turning things up a notch.
While you're on this drug, remember the side effects. So the side effects, initially, especially as you start on this medication.
This week, a brand new journey begins as we follow someone taking their very first steps into the program.
So with that suppressed appetite, we want to use that stage to sort of build a new habit, a new culture.
Tune in this Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. only on NTV.
Ladies and gentlemen, at the Nation Media Group, we are committed to amplifying women voices, telling their stories authentically, and challenging the narratives that perpetuate inequality. We have shifted from storytelling to story shaping. The stories, ladies and gentlemen, have made a real difference. They have prompted government interventions, increased visibility for women issues, and amplified national debate around topics such as gender-based violence, female genital mutilation, economic empowerment, and women career path development. We curated this intergenerational summit as a platform to advance women's rights and gender equality.
Cheer for Kenya, grits her teeth and moves past Asaba.
Perez Jepchirchir dug deep to triumph at the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo, Japan, clinching the women's marathon gold medal. On Sport On this Monday with Bernard Ndong and James Wokabe, she reflects on her victory and how she overcame a series of injuries to be a world champion.
Hi, my name is Perez Jepchirchir, world champion. Catch my story on NTV.
Round the Bay of Mexico, where the sun shine daily on the mountain top, I took a trip.
And Raila was always there fighting.
He expected us to salute him after he has given you the beating. You do the saluting. But Raila refused to salute the teacher.
Huyu ni political orphan, huyu amekwisha, lakini nimeona hapa orphans wako wengi sana.
Why did many politicians come over these years and fall on the wayside?
The only person who could give Kenyans a holiday outside government gazetted holidays was Raila.
You are required to report and surrender all unclaimed financial assets to the Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority, UFAA, on or before November 1st, 2025. Visit www.ufaa.go.ke and follow the step-by-step reporting process.
Welcome to the third hour of Fixing the Nation. We're live, of course, on Nation FM, on NTV, on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, anywhere with a broadcast or internet signal. Let's get into our news fix for the hour. The Principal Secretary for Education, Julius Bitok, has this morning led the distribution of Kenya Junior School Education Assessment at Kibra. A total of 3.4 million students are sitting for the KCSE, KGSEA, and KEPSEA examinations this year. The National Examinations Council also issued final instructions to field officers and to center managers ahead of the start of the 2025 KEPSEA and the KGSEA, which begin today. So, of course, as we said before, we do wish all candidates sitting the very best as they proceed to sit their exams. And, of course, we hope that the process is smooth and fair, transparent for all of them, and that they get their desired outcomes. And to the parents as well, breathe in, breathe out. All shall be well. I'll see you.
We continue our conversation with Abdul Samad Sharif Nasir, one of the deputy party leaders of ODM. The Central Committee of the party is set to meet today, where he tells us they are going to discuss three things. One is discuss preparations for the by-elections and how they're doing. The other thing that you're discussing is reviewing the 10-point agenda that was signed between the party leader of ODM then and the party leader of UDA, and how far those ones have gone. And also then looking at the new leadership of the party with Oburu Oginga as your interim party leader, and also looking what the party goes ahead to say. Let's look at some of the comments that are on our social media feed. Our fixers are asking very many things here. Joe says, ODM was and is synonymous with Raila. Ask the government to make his case in 3 uninterrupted minutes without invoking the name of Raila or Baba. Rosemary Mwangi says ODM will be swallowed by UDA. Then there's Rosemary again says, can you read out the 10 points and tell us what has been achieved point by point? And I think you'd even mentioned that many of these still remain unachieved. We talked about this 10-point agenda many times, even going by them point by point.
Right.
Aaron says, I don't know why Mariam's question is so hard to answer. If ODM does not plan to join government if it loses, when they attempt the opposition role, for some reason, chaos and mayhem happens.
Right. I didn't get that, but
and
okay.
Then, last one, as we get into questions of human rights, what pains me is the governor working with goons to silence human rights critics. Let him deny. That's Ask Jeremy. And I know this is regarding the allegations of the abduction and sodomy of a Mombasa-based blogger, Bruce John. That happened. I know you've denied it before, any involvement in it. Let's just get it clear out in the air, because I think those allegations still abound.
Through my life as the governor, even before I became governor, I've been criticized so many times. It's part of life. You wake up in the morning, you see all levels of criticism. Many people ask me, why are you not even on WhatsApp? Why is your phone not even on social media? But I prefer not seeing, because in that way you don't even have to start saying who is who and who is who. Prior to, I'm just giving a snapshot of the level of things that people can actually say. Prior to even the elections, I had someone come up, and the funny part is you got people who even go ahead and cheer it out, who called my mother so many names, that my father is not even my father, that I'm actually the son of someone else and everything else. And the person was living in Mombasa. The person was arrested. I never did anything. Then when you hear things that people are talking such, the only thing that actually happens is the young boy was not actually a critic of Mombasa, of the county. Only thing is he talked a lot about my mother. When your mother is called all sorts of things, I took myself to the DCI. I made it very, very clear. I would be the last person. For those who know me, I was more than willing for them to trace all those numbers that were called or anything else, and nothing. The beauty of it all is some of our lives are well documented, especially when you have events and everything. When all these things were being said, that this is what happened, and it was so well documented where I was at what particular time. The time that it was said that I was actually, the one who made calls or anything, it was nothing further from the truth. Do I feel for the young man? I truly do, because I know him. I know him as an individual. I know him prior to the elections. I know him after. I know what I have done for him. I don't want to talk about it, because I don't necessarily have to say what it is that I did even before all these things happened. Do I truly feel bad about whatever it is that happened? I truly do. But did it have anything to do with me or my family? Not at all.
Could it have been people thinking that they're acting on your behest? Because he says he was asked to apologize about the said comments about your mom. So could it have been people thinking that they're acting on your behest?
I don't think so. And the reason why I'm saying this is sometimes social media, the things that people talk about, you can have a lot of enemies. You end up creating so many enemies on different. And if anyone felt that they're doing this because of purposes of trying to protect the image of who my mother is and who my mother is to me, they never had anyone's blessings. But I think all said and done is I took myself to the DCI. They asked to see whatever it is that they wanted to see, my phone, everything, whatever it is, you know, I was more than willing. I had a whole country, literally, on my case without even listening to my side. I had a whole country on the case against my family. And the only ones are those who were actually from Mombasa who knew what our values are. I have never been involved in any level of violence. I'm the kind of person who's even told that, you know, sometimes I'm too soft even when the way I speak. If someone accuses me, if someone does anything to me, I'd still look at you and smile. It's just who I am.
Thank you, Drew, for responding to that, and for having your moment as well to speak about it here publicly, because it's a question that has been asked and you needed to answer it. Coming back into the ODM conversation, your leadership of the party is meeting today, and you've given us the agenda. And as we're going into the break, you know, you said ODM must be in government in the next government, whatever the case. Where is Edwin Sifuna, the Secretary General, in all this? And I'm asking that because Amara Talia says, sorry, Sifuna, you seem to be the only man standing alone. ODM is finished.
Well, I don't know who said that, but I mean, I respect their view. But again, as a politician, never ever speak on behalf of someone else. Never ever speak on behalf of someone else. But what I can tell you is that when decisions are made, they're made collectively. Because the next thing you're going to ask me is, where is Gladys on this? Where is,
Junet
on this? Where is Osotsi on this? I mean, everyone has their own voice. And that's the reason why when we have Central Committee meetings, they're closed-door meetings. They're meetings that are held internally. We digest on matters, meetings that take a couple of hours for us to be able to thrash out everything. And whenever we finish, we always read from the same script. And I don't expect today to be different as well.
It'll come out the same way.
I'm confident that today we are going to be coming out from that meeting with one voice. And the voice is going to be, and like I said, we have a bigger agenda at hand. What is most pressing currently, in about a month, we're going to have by-elections in this country. Let's never ever forget that. There are 3 parliamentary seats that we have our candidates in. The Magarini, the Ugunja, and the Kasipul. Let us not forget, it's not even about winning those by-elections. It's about winning those by-elections with large margins. Because what ends up happening is we then make our point be felt. We make our point be felt totally.
That ODM is a force to reckon.
Is actually a force to be able to reckon with. And that, as a party, we've not died. A second thing that we need to be able to talk about, I mean, now that Mzee is no longer with us, one of his last wishes was that we need to have something big. For in his own wisdom, many counties bid. You know, the way the World Cup, you have people bidding that it should be. Mombasa is one of the counties that bid. And in Mzee's own wisdom, he said that, yes, I think Mombasa is ideal to be able to hold the ODM at 20. So one of the things that we need to be able to start talking about is, if it's ODM at 20, let us now talk about ODM at 20 and Baba at 80. The third thing we need to talk about is exactly what you're talking about, you know, the straw that is there, the 10-point agenda. And I had one of the listeners, or the viewers actually, saying that, can you read out the 10-point agenda and tell us which is the one that has been done?
Yeah.
It is for that reason, so it does not become a political interpretation of what has been done and what has not been done, that the party made a decision. And the decision that was done in a very, very wise way. This is a decision that was done from the time Baba was alive. Names were put into place, and we said, these are the people that are going to be our conduit for us and those who are in UDA. And the UDA team chose their teams as well. So we're not going to be calling in our teams. It is now the party leader, the current party leader, to say that this is the day we're going to have to call this team to brief us. So if you're going to ask me right now, out of the 10, what has already been achieved, I'll be giving you a statement that is going to be very, very...
It's not backed by...
Superficial.
Okay.
If by any other name.
Okay.
When we're asking about the Secretary General, is because we're seeing that the younger leaders of ODM seem to be saying something.
Yeah.
And they are engaging in a different way.
Orengo is
Sifuna, Sifuna, if you think about Mbakasi...
And by the way, some of us are not that old.
I'm saying the younger.
All right.
And Babu Owino and others. Sifuna is actually even, going around with another group of parliamentarians and calling themselves Kenya Moja.
Yeah.
Right?
And he did that from a while back.
Yes, they've been doing that.
Even before Baba's passing.
Yes.
Yeah. So what is the position of, the leadership of ODM on their Secretary General?
In short, we have Edwin Sifuna.
No. We have never put him as an agenda. And we have never discussed an individual as an agenda. And what I'd love, I mean, I know it's juicy. I know it's really good. It's juicy out there to be told that, people love this kind of stories. I mean, the question that you asked me before, because it's juicy. It's juicy out there for you.
Which question?
When you told me about me silencing people, it's because people feel
that's not for juiciness. That is purely for accountability purposes and clarity, and for accountability. That is not for gossip or for...
Okay, but I mean, if today someone came to me and I had a dissenting voice, and then the headlines, of course, would be like... one of the deputy party leaders has got a different voice, because it's juicy. Will we 100% be talking about the same thing in the same manner? It will never happen. The way the vibrancy of the party is, it's literally impossible for all of us, because it's who we are. It's what we were taught. It's how we were taught. In one of Baba's speeches, you heard him say that wewe una yako ya kusema na huyu ana yake ya kusema. And one of the places where he actually met with Gachagua, if you recall what he said, I think it was a burial, where he said that you might not like what I'm saying, but just listen to me. All right? So someone might not like what it is that I say, but just listen to me. The fact that you can actually protect my right to say it, despite not liking what I say, is what ODM is.
Speaks a lot to, again, the social democracy and the Orange Democratic Movement. I'm thinking through representation of the people. The last 2 years have been incredibly tough on Kenyans, from the economy to the human rights abuses, to just sometimes even a general sense of despair. So then, as far as representing people goes, I really find it hard to fathom this ODM that is in broad-based. And I'm saying that knowing very well the reasoning behind the broad-based that you've given us and that Baba had struggled to explain so many times before, but staying in it again and even thinking of potential coalitions, pre-election coalitions, still has the same issues are still, at the very core of what is bothering Kenya. Like that will likely not change.
Do you know the difference? The difference between us when we were in perceived to be, are we still a party that is an opposition party? Yes, because we don't have a coalition. But I'll tell you the difference. The difference between ODM is when we were talking and we were raising voices, it was always on issues. When we talked about electoral reforms, when we talked about so many of these other issues that are out there, the cost of living, when we talked about devolution having to work and everything, look at the ones who are calling themselves the opposition now. Please
what are
tell
their
me,
issues?
Yes, thank you. What are the issues that they have raised?
Same.
And you see, I think what they need to do, those who know are going to be in the opposition, they need to go through, maybe, if for a better word, I think we have the art of being in the opposition, the playbook of being in the opposition. That when you go to parliament, raise issues, not individuality. When you're out there on public platform, raise issues, not on based on individuality. So I hope they learn, because if this is the trend that is there, the way whatever it is that they stand up, all it is just talk about people, even in death. Then Kenya is going to be in a big problem. We're not going to have an opposition because, like I said, we're not going to be in the opposition.
So clearly, you are not reading from the same script with the United Opposition leadership, because you think they are not aligned. You have not even mentioned Okiya Omtata or Dr. Reuben Kigame or
I respect them.
David Maraga.
I respect every one of them. I know them all individually. And I'm sure that the respect that I have for them is respect that they accord to me as well, as an individual.
So since William Ruto is already president, and of course he'll be going for a second term in 2027, and you are likely to enter into a coalition agreement with him, so you're likely then to maybe...
Where did you get that from?
Donate, you're likely, I said.
Well, but I mean, there can only a likelihood could be something. I mean,
I have looked at the possibilities of a pre-election agreement.
Are you
Governor?
Do you have some?
We are working
some
sequentially
issues?
here. Sequentially, right? What are the current formations politically preparing for the next election?
Okay,
we have said united opposition. You have, in many ways,
who's the united position? You basically mean
Wiper, PLP,
yes.
DCP,
DAPK, all
right?
of them.
And those are the ones you're saying, those people now, right?
Okay.
You have mentioned the other side, Maraga, Kigame, Okiya Omtata.
Okay.
You have not mentioned them. You are currently in a very good relation with UDA and Kenya Kwanza. So the likelihood of a pre-election coalition that ODM enters into is closer to Kenya Kwanza than the other two.
Okay.
And from the president's
they already
onwards,
have a candidate.
Yeah.
Okay. You know how
so
physics works?
What will you want?
Okay, let me just tell you.
And briefly, because we have to get to Mombasa in just in a very short time. But yes.
Okay.
Maybe in 2 minutes.
I think you're looking at things based on if we live in a scenario where we're all in a Barbie situation, where everything is going to remain constant, everything is picture perfect and all. Politics in this country is so vibrant. I said this when we were on the break. Kibaki never knew he was going to be the president until 6 months before the elections is when he was actually declared that he was going to be the president. Politics in this country is so vibrant, is so vibrant, One thing I've learned, never look down on someone and say that their chances are zero. And never feel too comfortable when you're up there. Because anything can happen in this country.
Okay. So the question then, if Kenya Kwanza, which has a candidate called William Ruto, approached ODM and said, we'd like ODM to give us a running mate. So we get into this election together to guarantee that should we win, ODM is in government.
You're asking,
we work together towards winning.
Would
Abdul Somad be the candidate?
To be the deputy president?
Yeah.
I'm comfortable where I am.
Would Gladys Wanga be the candidate?
I don't know about Gladys, whether she's comfortable being the governor of Homa Bay.
Would you propose her name?
Would I propose Gladys to be the deputy president? I mean, before even proposing Gladys to be the deputy president, first of all, I'd have a sit down with her and ask, are you interested in being the deputy president? You know, there are many people. I mean, this is a party that the current crop of leaders who are there are so many people who can be able to.
If she said, yeah, I'm comfortable.
If she said that she's very comfortable, we'll bring it to the Central Committee and do exactly what it is that we were taught to do. Discuss it internally first and not commit the party before anything else. We will discuss it internally, fathom all the options that are there, weigh it out, ask ourselves, is there someone else who'd make equally a deputy president, in the cost? Maybe they'll say, why don't we bring on board Hassan Ali Joe? So Luo Nyanza would say, why don't we bring in Gladys? So probably, I don't know, maybe say, why not Orengo? Probably, why not Simba Arati? Why not Northeastern? And we say that, we have Jir, who has been governor long enough. Why not him to be the deputy president? And then options would be weighed out. Baba believed that should we have this, should we have that, should we have this? And then numbers would have to play out. How many numbers is this one bringing on board, and what are the values that this person brings on board, and everything else. So there's many issues that are going to be there.
What I'm hearing is that for the first time,
but Gladys has not told me that she's interested. You mentioned Gladys by name, and I just want to make it very, very clear.
No, I was just going down the list. I started with the deputy party leader, Abdul Somad. He said he's comfortable. So I went to the chairperson of the party. Well, for the first time since the party was formed,
she's not the vice. She's the chair.
Yes, she's the chair. Since ODM was formed 20 years ago, this would be the first time that ODM goes into an election, not as the lead in the presidential ticket.
True. If at all it is a decision that the party will make. If that is the decision, I'm repeating again, if that is going to be the decision that we will be able to make.
Would you push for such a decision?
It is not an issue of comfort. It is an issue of practicality. Are we practical enough to have a candidate? Even when Baba was alive, we had candidates who stood up and said that they have the muscle, and they have the charisma, and they have what it takes to be the president of this country. I think it was at one point, those who took the nomination forms, there was Baba, and I think Hassan Ali Joe, and I think Oparanya as well took forms to be president. So you never know. This time round, we might have people who say that, we want to step down from our cabinet secretary positions, and we want to be flag bearers for ODM. It'll come to us. We will have to bear the weight of making that decision as a central committee. It goes to the National Executive Committee, and we take it to the National Delegates Conference, which is the final body that makes those particular decisions. And the decisions will end up being made.
Okay.
But right now, we do not have a leadership crisis.
Yes.
Right now, we have an agenda at hand. Right now, our agenda is not about being divided, but about being focused on what is at hand.
Right. Giving you a free idea. ODM 100, Raila, Baba at 80, ODM at 20.
Right.
Right. We still have matters Mombasa County, Eric. How do we proceed? Because I think we need to answer a few questions regarding Mombasa County itself. And the question then begins with like the waste management issue. And I know Eric had alluded to it over the break. What is happening as far as waste management in Mombasa? And you said it's not a scandal that's brewing, it's a confusion that's happening.
I think, let me just rephrase what exactly happened. About a year ago, first of all, when immediately I took over office, I think within 3 months after taking over office, we advertised for waste to energy. We did not get a decent response. Nothing came up. We advertised again. The costings were going to be basically converting waste to energy is extremely expensive. So what that would have meant is that the county government would have to chip in a considerable amount. Then came the issues of whether this has been able to work in other parts, especially Africa, because you need to be able to look at what is the calorific density of that waste. Is it something that can be converted? Coincidentally, about a year or so ago, about 7 governors went to Ghana. And we were actually invited to go and have a look at something that is being done in Ghana. And when we traveled, I think it was 7 of us. Yeah, I believe it was 7 of us. When we went there, and what I saw basically was something that should actually be able to work. But what I did do, I said, I'm not going to do anything that is going to be direct procurement. What we did do is we advertised for 3 possibilities. One, no one is going to deny that we have a sewer problem. You know, we have one sewer treatment plant that has been dead for 33 years. We have another sewer treatment plant that has been dead for 13 years. Then we have a system that is simply not working. Majority of the areas in Mombasa do not have a sewer line. From the whole of Chuda, the whole line which goes to all the beach hotels, there's no sewer line. It's sewer that is picked by trucks and is meant to go to the sewer treatment plants. Those sewer treatment plants they don't exist.
So where does the waste go?
Thank you. And that's why leadership, you have to come up with a solution. These solutions don't cost 10 shillings or 20 shillings or 30 shillings. They cost billions. Have we put in money? No, we've put in zero. This is one of the contracts that we're yet to sign, because as the water company, we need to sort its leadership first of all. It's a whole long story about a court case and everything. So we need to be able to make sure that those who are going to sign that are substantive office holders. Then the second one, you recall what happened in Lebanon when there was a whole explosion, because there was hazardous waste that was lying for a very long time. Mombasa has no hazardous treatment plant. We're a county that has a port. We're a county that has, we've got oil passing through us. You've got, all these things that are going through there. You've got the pipeline. You've got people who are importing all sorts of cargo that pass through there. And what I did is we passed this through all the stakeholders, and all the stakeholders agreed. So for this particular one is we're saying that someone who has the expertise, they came, so they're building. We're not investing a single shilling as a county government of Mombasa. We're not paying a single shilling. For this particular one, for hazardous waste, is the one who brings the hazardous waste, and we have to destroy it based on international standards. Is they're the ones who are going to bear the cost.
Who's the people bringing in the waste?
Naturally, the people who are bringing in the waste, and then the county government of Mombasa gets a decent amount from that. Then the third one now is the normal waste, the newspaper, everything else, what it is that you... The concept that we have is very simple. These guys are bringing in 200.
I'm afraid we are really, really out of time. I think this one we need to have a separate conversation.
But all in all, I just want to make it very, very clear that no money has been spent as a county government of Mombasa. We're not paying any amount of money.
No contract has been signed yet.
No, we have signed contracts.
Okay.
We have signed contracts. The contracts are actually in such a way that someone else invests and then we pay for that service in a certain way.
Per use or something.
Per use, exactly. We don't have the kind of billions to be able to invest at a goal. We need to be smart. We can't come up with...
In fact, to let a mic ground Mombasa,
we should.
We discuss this with the residents of Mombasa.
We should.
So we're here because we've seen a lot of conversation on social media.
Which is good.
So we should have this. We bring the mic ground, engage with the people of Mombasa, engage with the county leadership of Mombasa to understand what's happening. But thank you for joining us.
And thank you very much.
Sharif
We
Nasir,
should do this again.
Governor of Mombasa, Deputy Party Leader, ODM, has been our guest. In the next hour, we start talking about Tanzania's election. Tanzania goes into a general election for president, for members of parliament, and for ward representatives. What's going on there? Keep it here for that.